Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekah, Hakwadash, Barakatah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to Yakim out there pushing this word in truth. This is the Brother Rai with another video, and today I'll be doing an update to a video I did a couple of days ago titled World War III Update, Jeremiah 49 and 20, and the articles that I used in that video were talking about how Israel did a airstrike against a Syrian military research site, and that airstrike was followed by a U.S. airstrike against pro-Syrian forces, and that was a fulfillment of Jeremiah 49 and 20, which states, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." And towards the end of that video, I speculated that those airstrikes could lead to something more significant, which we'll see is the case with the article I'll be reading, which is on the antiwar.com, and its title reads, "Israel launches large-scale attack on Syria after F-16 crashes. Israeli officials try to spin attacks as targeting Iran." Israeli officials have been carrying out large-scale attacks against several military sites within Syria, claiming to have done major damage to Syria's air defenses nationwide. The Israeli Air Force described the attack as the most significant attack on Syria since 1982. The incident started with Israel shooting down a small drone from the Syrian military research site that they've repeatedly attacked in recent weeks, a site they claim is an Iranian base. The drone crossed into Israeli airspace. Israel responded with airstrikes against Syria, as it so often does. But Syria's air defenses were a bit more successful this time, since they're using the latest Russian tech, and one of Israel's F-16s managed to crash. Whether it was hit by an anti-aircraft missile or just took shrapnel damage, the warplane crashed in Israel and one of the pilots was hurt. Israel responded to this with massive attacks against Syria, hitting 4 different military sites and apparently targeting air defense systems. Syria is threatening further action if Israel continues to attack, while Israeli officials insist the attacks will continue. And in the first article I used in my last video, it stated that Syria isn't really prone to do anything significant against Israel when they attack them like this. But as you can see with this recent airstrike, Syria managed to shoot down one of Israel's F-16s, which brings me to Joel chapter 3, 9 through 10. "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." Here's the point: "Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." And Syria just got out of a serious civil war, which is in fact a proxy war against which was in fact a proxy war against it by the U.S., Israel, and the Western powers to overthrow it. And this has left the Assad regime pretty weak to where anything significant could topple it over. And Israel's been taking advantage of this since they have the U.S. behind their back, and also since the U.S. has troops in Syria, and the U.S. is more openly advocating for regime change. So Israel believes it can throw around its weight and still pretend to be the boss. But now that Syria has Russia behind its back, it's not taking its shit anymore, and sees that if they don't finally make a stand, that they're just gonna go down the same path as Libya and Iraq. So as it said, "Let the weak say, I am strong." Interestingly, almost all Israeli officials are presenting this to the public as an attack on Iran, as opposed to Syria, and are now calling all of the Syrian military bases that have been attacked Iranian bases. And if you read the Oded Yinon plan and Which Path to Persia, you'll see that the ultimate goal of the U.S. and Israel is to topple Iran. So not only to build a pipeline through Syria to Europe so they can continue to control the oil flow in that area, but so that Israel can be the only strong power in that area, and Iran is really the only one in their way, since Iraq's been thrown since Iraq's been overthrown, as well as Libya, and it's looking like it's going to happen to Syria as well. So, as it says, Satan has but a short time, so he's speeding up his plans so he can finally get Iran out of the way and try to get in that New World Order, which is going to fail. Some Israeli analysts are warning that this is a very dangerous rhetorical strategy, as Russian officials have been trying to calm the situation, and with Israel both continuing to escalate and making it about Iran, they may be pushing Russia into a more explicitly pro-Iran stance, which brings me back to Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. And as you can see, these heathen Gentiles are getting drawn into the Valley of Jehoshaphat for World War III and that ultimate judgment. The U.S. State Department seems to be fine with however many attacks Israel wants to conduct, and is buying the Iran narrative hook, line, and sinker. In a statement endorsing further Israeli attacks as self-defense, the State Department didn't even mention Syria, instead railing on about what a threat Iran poses. And the U.S. is in Israel's pocket, so whatever Israel does, the U.S. does. Which brings me again to Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock, those gutter rat Israelis, shall draw them out, the U.S. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So, as Israel pushes for war with Iran, the U.S. will push for war with Iran, and will go full steam ahead once things start popping off. So, that's what you heathen Gentiles get for thinking those fake Jews are the real Jews. This puts the post-attack rhetoric in a bizarre place, with Syria bragging that they sent a clear message in downing the Israeli warplane, and Israel skipping right over Syria in official statements and trying to make it into a war with Iran. And the U.S. could really use a war with Iran since, or even Syria, since there was that big stock market dip earlier this week, and the U.S. citizens are starting to realize how much the powers that be are screwing them over through the economy. So this would be perfect for Israel to do an attack and drag them into a war. So as you brothers can see, things are heating up more and more, and we just got to keep our eyes open to see what happens in the coming days, weeks, and months. So with this video, I hope your brothers were edified. Until next time, Shalom.